Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey, and here let's check out the top new games made with Unity and launch in November 23. Honestly, I'm feeling a bit of deja vu. I feel like I'm about to repeat the exact same thing that I've said in the past 2 months. This month was once again one of the toughest months ever. Very tough to pick just 10 games. The amount of really awesome looking games that are coming out every month seems to be increasing. That's really awesome for players, tons of awesome stuff to play, and of course also a bit tough heavy competition for the developer. The reason why I make these videos is to show you everything the engine can do. The only limit is really just your own skills and imagination, and the variety and the awesomeness of the games shown here really puts that to the test. All of these games are uniquely impressive, so the list in no particular order, except for the number 1 game that is my personal pick of the month. And if you haven't seen the Humble Bundle with tons of tools, then definitely check it out. For just $35 you can get tons of tools that do all kinds of things. You've got some visuals, some things for animating, some things for 2D soft body, cars, handling feedback forms, slicing things, and even completing templates. Or if all you want are just some visuals, then the Cindy Store has just started their holiday season sale. All with tons of assets in their gorgeous style. They even have a fun holiday gift basket. Or alternatively, the Unity Asset Store is also having their New Year sale. I haven't yet had the time to look at this one, but I'm sure tons of awesome stuff are currently on sale. So if you need anything, check out all the links in the description. Alright, so starting off at number 10, with a sequel to an extremely successful game, it's For the King 2. I've heard great things about the original. This one was a huge hit. The sequel, this one is a strategy RPG that blends tabletop and roguelike elements. It features multiple unique adventures across a varied world, all of them linked through a strong narrative. You can create your party from 12 unique character classes. Engage in turn-based combat in a grid where positioning is key, but at the same time remember that this is a roguelike, so failure is definitely a part of the process. If you fail, you will start stronger and wiser on your next campaign, so you can go further and further. You can play either solo or online, and despite being a full release, they seem to have a pretty robust 2-year roadmap. So far, the game has a barely mostly positive score. It seems there are some bugs and balancing issues, although despite that, that did not stop the game from being a huge hit. It already has a huge amount of reviews, over 7,000. Next, if you're into some compelling stories with excellent 2D art, then check out Back to the Dawn. This one is a story-rich detective-style RPG with an intense prison escape journey. Right away, the style is absolutely excellent. Personally, for me, I'm usually much more into gameplay than visuals, but I just can't help but be impressed with how good this looks. It's got some excellent 2D art, with some great lighting and 3D effects. The game itself is an interesting adventure game where you play as a fox who was apparently framed and put in prison. Now you have to learn how to survive and break out. It features tons of interesting minigames for all kinds of actions, things like sorting packages, lifting weights, pickpocketing, or just plain old combat. You can meet and talk with interesting unique characters, you can hatch a plan and finally break free. This one has apparently been under development alongside an active community already for over 4 years, and it's finally out now on Steam. It's in early access, which is usually odd for these kinds of story-heavy games, but people do seem to be loving it. Already has over 2,000 very positive reviews. Then for something very much focused on mechanics, here is Backpack Hero. This one is an inventory management roguelike. Your inventory has a certain size and items have different shapes. You need to organize and fit them all together. But do it carefully. Position of the objects is hugely important. It is not just for compactness. Objects have significant bonuses if they are nearby other related objects. There are tons and tons of items with tons of unique combinations for you to discover. You can engage in battles, but also take some time off in between in order to rebuild a nice village and unlock more items that you can then use on your journey. One really interesting tutorial that I did quite a while ago was my Tetris inventory system tutorial. I've always wanted to use that one in a more complex project, and this game definitely shows the potential for some interesting use case for a system like that one. It is now fully released after spending 1 year in early access. Throughout that time, it has gathered almost 5,000 very positive reviews, so this one looks really interesting. Definitely give it a try. Next, if you're into old school arcade car games, check out Super Woden GP2. Just one glance at this one and it immediately makes it clear how it perfectly captures all of those old arcade racers. The camera position, the CRT effects, the really nice smoke and some arcadey car handling, all of them really perfectly done. It features a huge amount of vehicles, almost 200 of them. And they are all of all kinds of unique types. You've got everything from supercars to rally cars to some really old classics. You can buy cars, you can put them in your garage and upgrade them, then pick from tons of interesting events with some really awesome tracks and race to the finish line. It features local multiplayer, which is really awesome for a game like this one, and also has some online leaderboards. This is one of those games where for a particular type of person, this will be absolutely perfect. Then here's yet another huge hit that is also a sequel and that also just got our early access. It's My Time at Sandrock. The previous one, My Time at Porsche, is a game that apparently everyone really loved, and while sometimes indie sequels can fall flat, thankfully the feedback seems to be this one is definitely a great sequel. This is a building, crafting, sandbox farming game. It's very charming. You can explore this world, embark on an exciting adventure, build out your village from scratch, farm for resources and for money, so there's tons and tons of activities for you to do. The best thing about these games seems to be how they are a great mix between sandbox building and also a nice narrative. And after all that time in early access, the game already has a huge amount of content, features hundreds and hundreds of hours of content, doing things like quests, crafting, building, relationships. You can do farming, fishing, combat, dungeons, and tons more. If you haven't played the first one, maybe pick that one up since it's regularly pretty cheap nowadays. And if you do enjoy that one, you will definitely also enjoy this one. It is out now and already has 17,000 very positive reviews. Next, if you've always wanted to be a blacksmith, check out this management adventure game called Anvil Saga. You take control of a blacksmith shop amid an intense war, build out the smithy of your dreams, open up new rooms, both above ground and underground, and then outfit them with the right equipment to improve the quality of your items. You can hire a team of professionals to help you out by doing various tasks. Then of course you are a blacksmith, so the customers come in, and what they want is very important. Every decision you make impacts both the gameplay as well as the story, so will you try to be honest, or will you actually try to scam someone with some fake jewelry? The choice is yours, but so are the consequences. As you make better and better items, you can increase your renown. If you're good enough, you might be asked to make one-of-a-kind weapon. It's a really interesting game, mixing both mechanics and a heavy story. This one has been in development for quite some time. It already had several demos, then early access, and now finally a full release. It's currently got 1,000 mostly positive reviews. Then if you've ever wanted to grow and manage a rat colony, then check out Ratopia. This is a survival sandbox colony building simulation. Start with just one rat and begin gathering resources. Start digging down into the side, build a door, and invite more ratizens to join you on your colony. You directly control one rat and then give orders to all the rest. This one certainly has a certain charm and uniqueness with everything being rat-based. You not only give them orders, but you can also set policies, like how long do they need to work and what taxes do they pay. But at the same time, they also have a mind of their own, meaning you can either create or prevent social disasters with all your policies. The world is huge and it's all open for you to explore, but of course be aware you are not alone in this world. Making these kinds of side-scrolling colony builders, this is a really tricky genre, but this one seems to be great. It is out now in early access and already has 1,500 very positive reviews. Next, if you're into stylish action platformers, check out SANABI. This is another one with some really gorgeous pixel art. It's a very fluid platformer, features some really fluid action. You have all kinds of attacks, air dashes and slices. You've got a hookshot to make traversing dangerous paths really fun. You can fight all kinds of interesting enemies and explore this awesome dystopian world. There's tons of explosions all over the place. The game has a serious emphasis on verticality. In the trailer, the character is rarely touching the floor, so it's a really active game. Platformers is usually a genre that I really don't recommend people to make, simply because there are already so many that it's so difficult to stand out. But of course, the top 0.1% that do find success do become massive hits. This one is out now with already over 10,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. That's an insanely good result. Then if you're in the mood to play a classic, check out Stronghold Definitive Edition. This one is a remake of a very old game. Personally, I've heard great things about it, but never actually played it. Back then, I was more into Age of Empires and Empire Earth, so I never tried this one. This is apparently a very faithful remake with some improved visuals, modernized gameplay. It's got a new campaign and Steam multiplayer. Like the name implies, you build a stronghold, set up farming to gather some food, mine for resources, and use them to recruit military units. Then build up some high walls and ready yourself because an attack is imminent. They will attack with soldiers, cavalry, and some deadly trebuchets. It's up to you to protect the villagers and grow a thriving stronghold. This one was originally released in 2001, which is now over 20 years old, but this classic gameplay never really goes out of style. It is out now and people seem to be really enjoying this remake with over 5,000 very positive reviews. Then at number 1 for my personal pick of the month, here is Gym Simulator 24. This is very much a personal pick. For a long time, I've always wanted to make some kind of gym simulator game, but I always decided against it because I figured it would be way too niche and not really something the Steam audience is interested in. But looking at how much success this one is finding, it seems that I was definitely wrong about that. Like the name implies, you build and run your gym. This is one of those simulator games where you start from scratch, you buy a rundown building, start tearing down walls and building your gym. You can buy all kinds of equipment and place it down anywhere. Buy some machines, some free weights, some barbells and cardio machines. Then go out into the supermarket and buy some supplements to stock up your vending machine. Set up some lights, paint the walls, clean the floors, and open up. As your guests work out, they are going to get stinky, and for some reason it's up to you to spray them down. I really don't think this part is a realistic part of the simulation. Then you can also make what looks like an unlicensed boxing ring and take some bets, so it definitely has quite a lot of actions, quite a lot of variety. Honestly, another thing that I've long wanted to make is one of these type of first-person simulator games. It's one of the topics that I'd like to cover in a full course someday, and looking at this one really makes me want to do it. These simulator games are usually quite janky, and the trailer doesn't look that way, but apparently that isn't stopping people from enjoying it. Currently it's got 600 very positive reviews. Alright, so that's 10 awesome new games made with Unity launched in November 23. I hope this list helped you see how the Unity engine is capable of building anything. The only limits are really just your own skills and imagination. Check out my own game, Dinky Gardens, and I hope you enjoy playing it.